Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 216. My name's Adam Patterson. Joining me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. How you doing there, Kevin?
I'm doing okay.
This week on the show, we'll be talking about the Dances with Films Festival that's taking place right now in Los Angeles. And we're going to be reviewing 3 films that are premiering at that festival. We'll be talking about Dinner with the Alchemist, Shortwave, and Lilith's Awakening. We'll also be talking about some other stuff we've been watching on the watch list, movie predictions, new on video on demand, Blu-ray releases. First, I feel like I should mention the shooting that happened in Orlando last night.
Now,
Have you heard about this?
Yeah. Well,
oh my God.
It's the second shooting in Orlando.
It's insane.
It's the second shooting in Orlando. And I just read this is the 174th this year. This is the 7th since Monday.
This is the largest mass shooting in U.S. history. So as of now, when we're recording this, 50 people have been killed and 53 people are injured.
That's ridiculous.
Absolutely tragic. A friend of mine, close friend of mine, is a DJ in Orlando, and he actually knows the DJ that was there last night. Fortunately, he got out safely, but it's so awful. Just so awful.
Well, because of fucking assault rifles.
Yeah.
We need assault rifles for.
It's, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about what I wanted to say, and if I wanted to even say anything. And it's easy to immediately get political in situations like this. And then I was like thinking, I just wanted to mention how horrible it is for, the victims and their families. But then I was like, I feel like we have to mention that this gun violence has to stop, man.
Well, it's just, assault rifles. Why do we need these? Like, why are people able to get these? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And I forget where I saw it. Some point out on Twitter, I think it's easier to get an assault rifle for people than for some people to use a goddamn bathroom nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Absolutely terrible. Our thoughts are with all of the families affected by this, and it's just so awful.
And for it to be when you say Orlando shooting, and then you got to point out which one, because there's been 2.
Yeah, the other one was
days?
Yeah, it was that singer, right? She was on The Voice, and guy just walks up and shoots her.
I just don't understand what's happening.
Yeah,
I'm so confused.
It's awful, just awful. Let's go ahead and talk about some things that are far less significant, and that's some movie news. So we were off last 2 weeks, and I apologize for not having a show last week, but we just couldn't put one together in time. So I'm going to cover a couple things that these were news items that broke the last couple weeks. The first big one being that everybody was talking about Rogue One going through some extensive reshoots.
Oh boy.
Extensive reshoots on this Star Wars movie. Apparently, it's screened for some executives, and they weren't quite feeling the tone. I guess it was a little bit too dark for their taste. They wanted to lighten it up a bit, make it a little bit more fun. So they did some reshoots, and I feel like the internet just exploded over this. Like, they just freaked out. Like, oh my God, the movie's gonna be shit. It's gonna be shit. This movie is shit because they had to go through reshoots. I think that people don't understand that reshoots are an insanely common thing that happen in movies all the time. And I think that maybe just because this movie is so high profile that they're kind of more focused on that. But reshoots are a common thing.
Well, plus, this is the thing that always gets me about this type of stuff is, number one, you didn't see the first movie, the one that they tested and they thought was too dark. And second, you haven't seen any of the reshoot footage.
Exactly.
All the movie comes out.
Literally all that we've seen of this movie is that very short trailer that they released. So let's hold off on our judgment until we actually see this movie. And you know what?
You're still going to go see it, so who cares?
Exactly. And at this point, I actually have a significant amount of faith in Disney doing this property justice. And if what Gareth Edwards was working on with the movie was too dark for the Star Wars universe, then, I have to kind of say, you know what, maybe it was. Maybe it was too dark.
Yeah, because I don't want my Star Wars to be too dark.
Yeah, I don't want it to get all Zack Snyder DC on this.
No, we did.
Star Wars.
That's the last thing
we don't need that.
We got plenty of that shit going on with all the other damn films.
So, at any rate, I still have faith in the movie. I'm sure that it'll make $1 billion and it'll be critically acclaimed and all of that stuff. I think that it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
This is a rumor, but it seems like it's been fairly substantiated, and that's that Christopher Nolan will crash a $5 million World War II plane for his next movie, Dunkirk.
What?
So the rumor is that Warner Brothers purchased a $5 million World War II plane.
Okay.
For Christopher Nolan and his next movie, Dunkirk, and he plans on crashing it. So,
all right, let's do it.
So that's apparently going to happen. I think if that story came out and it was any other director, I'd be like, I don't know about that. I'm like, why wouldn't they just use CG and not buy a plane for $5 million?
If you're going to spend $5 million, let me offer you a suggestion. Instead of spending $5 million, why not spend a little bit less and just like build a replica?
I know, right? Well, that's not how Christopher Nolan rolls. He wants authenticity.
Jesus.
So I don't know if that's true or not.
If that news never came out, no one would have noticed.
That's the thing.
Like, damn, that was a real fucking plane.
I probably would have just assumed that the whole thing was CG at this point. I don't know. I don't know what about that. The first teaser trailer for that movie is going to be playing before Suicide Squad.
Wow, so. Another World War II movie.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so we'll see about that. This is a quick one. Riley Stern's next feature is going to be called The Art of Self-Defense, and it's going to star Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and it's going to be about the world of karate.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if it's going to be a comedy or not, but just reading about it, I get kind of a Foot Fist Way vibe.
She going to be doing the karate?
She's the lead.
That's awesome.
So I would presume that she's going to be doing the karate. Didn't know that she's actually married to Riley Stearns.
Yeah.
Maybe I did know that and just
you probably did.
Left my brain.
It was one of those things that you probably just read and you're like, huh.
Yeah.
And
then moved on. Yeah.
It didn't stick at all.
Either way, I'm pretty excited for that. I was a big fan of Faults, as I know you were.
But so. Karate, the art of self-defense.
Yeah.
She's playing the lead. So I just hope it's her kicking the shit out of a bunch of people.
That'd be awesome.
Like, come trying to accost her on the streets. She just fucks them up. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
I'm into that too. Mel Gibson is going to be directing Passion of the Christ 2. It's happening.
That's a real thing?
It's a real thing. So the screenwriter is working on the script. They had the same screenwriter from the original one. This is also the guy who wrote God's Not Dead, I believe. I think that was the one. Same guy. Oh. But this one's going to focus on the resurrection. So Passion of the Christ 2.
Man.
Oh, I hope it's called Passion of the Christ 2 and not like Passion of the Christ subtitle something.
It's going to be Passion of the Christ 2, the resurrection.
Yeah, as long as they leave the number in, I'll be happy because it just adds this cheese to it that I'm just into. Recent trailers. A couple trailers to note here. First one being Kicks. This was a film that I was a big fan of at Tribeca. Really good trailer. I don't know if you got a chance to check this trailer out.
Why are you saying that?
I'm not saying it because I was quoted in it. It's a good trailer, regardless. Take my quote out. It's a good trailer. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that my quote's in there, but it's still a really good trailer. I'm excited for people to see this movie because I think that it's going to do very well. I said it before. It's like Dope, but better in almost every regard.
Yeah, that's good.
It's more serious than Dope. It's not just an all-out comedy, but it is very funny.
Okay.
The Greasy Strangler got a teaser trailer. I've been keeping my eye on this one. I think that this premiered at Fantastic Fest last year, and I've been kind of keeping my eye on it ever since because it just looks so outrageous and disgusting and horrific. But I'm intrigued. It looks like it could be very funny. It almost looks like a Tim and Eric style like horror movie.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I just like that the one guy's name is Michael St. Michael's.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. The teaser is very not safe for work, so just be forewarned if you give it a watch. It's very gross.
With the title, The Greasy Strangler.
The Greasy Strangler. It just sounds so gross.
It does.
The Greasy Strangler. Cosmos. Have you read about this? Learned about it?
Oh, there's a trailer out for Cosmos?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Once you see the trailer for this, it'll be your most anticipated movie of the year.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
So this is the new one from Andrzej Slawski. Man, it's been what 14 years since his last movie or something like that, and this movie looks completely absurd. It looks very bizarre. It looks funny. It looks. I definitely got a Lanthimos vibe to this movie, at least from the trailer.
Okay.
It looks really out there, and I'm very excited. Very excited for this one. And the only other one I'll mention is it's not a movie, but it's the new Netflix series Stranger Things. Trailer for that came out. Very excited for this one. I didn't really know anything about this. I've read some little pieces here and there about it. It's the one with Winona Ryder.
Okay.
And after seeing the trailer, I am all in on this show. It looks really good. It looks very Amblin-esque, and that instantly has me intrigued. And that's going to be out in July 15th, I want to say. So I'll certainly be binge watching that one, no doubt. Let's go ahead and jump into our first movie. As I mentioned at the top of the show, Dances with Films happening right now in Los Angeles. We've covered Dances with Films probably I think this is our third year covering this festival. It's an indie film festival, happens every year in LA. We usually watch tons of movies from this festival. And which one do you want to start with?
Oh man, I get the pick.
It's your pick. Kevin's pick.
Let's go with Lilith's Awakening.
Lilith's Awakening.
Because that was the first one I watched.
It was the second one I watched.
Ooh.
Sort of. I watched about 5 minutes of one before having to turn it off, and then I rewatched it again and forced myself. It was a forced watch.
Was it this one?
No, it wasn't. I made it through this one in one go. This is written and directed by Monica Dems. One of the big things about this is that she was, a student of David Lynch.
Yeah, I guess she took some sort of.
David Lynch was her mentor.
Class or something.
I don't know what that's all about.
I don't know, but I think they're gonna ride on that.
Certainly in the emails that I've been getting about it, they are riding on it pretty hard. Okay. Synopsis: a sexually repressed woman embraces her dark side, experiencing her wildest fantasy. I'll start it off.
Start it.
I did not like this movie.
Okay.
So it's
the next one.
It's in black and white, but it's that digital black and white that I do not like, where it looks like it was shot in color, but then they added a black and white filter onto it.
Yeah,
I feel like if you're gonna shoot on black and white or have your film be black and white, you got to do film. You have to shoot it on film because that's where the grain pops. When you're shooting on film and it's in black and white, the film grain really pops, and that's what that's what really enhances it. Plus,
or you at least gotta have your lighting game.
And that was my next point. Plus, with film, one of the big differences between film and digital is black, and how even with really, really good digital cameras, the blacks are never quite as black as on film. And it's really prominent and prevalent when you're shooting and when you have a black and white movie that's shot on digital. The blacks are never quite as deep as on film, and I think that that's an important aspect as well. One reason that if you're doing black and white, you gotta go film. That being said, this was not a very pretty movie, at least to me. I think that there were some shots that looked good, that were like well framed and had decent lighting. However, none of the lighting felt natural. It was always very, very theatrical lighting, if that makes sense. Like, it looked very staged.
Yeah.
One shot stands out to me, and it was the one with the swing, the porch swing in the yard. Like, that was a good looking shot. It was well framed. It was very symmetrical, but it felt just very staged and almost extraneous, and didn't really add much to the style and look of the film. But as a whole, I was just not very into this. It started off feeling very much like A Girl Who Walks Home Alone at Night. Had that kind of vibe to it, where you have this. It's a vampire movie, by the way. It doesn't say that in the synopsis, but it's very. I don't think it's like a giant spoiler to say it's a vampire movie. It starts off very much like A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, with this kind of wandering female vampire. She's got a guitar for some reason, and she's just kind of poking around town.
Just walking around.
She kind of sets her sights on this woman, Lilith. She's got a shitty job working for her dad. She's in a marriage that is clearly on the rocks. She's not happy in her marriage. She's cheating on her husband with this, I would call him at least semi-abusive guy.
Yeah, I mean...
And the movie starts off with her kind of meeting this guy in secret in her car, and in what I believe to be the longest makeout scene ever in any film. It never ends, and it's so close up, and you get the sounds, the mouth sounds, and and I was just like, come on, just end it.
It was just such a weird execution of that scene altogether. The way he pops up in the car,
and real slow, and he gets like real close to her, but she doesn't detect that he's there.
Well, then she freaks out, and you're thinking, "Oh shit, he's like assaulting her."
Yeah,
and then it just like snap of a finger, it just changes, and you're like, "What the fuck is the relationship? What the hell is going on in this movie?" Because this movie does nothing for like 45 minutes. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it doesn't do anything, and even worse than that, like, fine, you don't introduce any like horror elements or anything along those lines, anything exciting per se, but it doesn't even attempt to get. Well, I guess it does attempt, but it just fails miserably to try and set up any sort of like atmosphere. It's just scenes dragging on.
Yeah.
For no reason. And the only thing that they really attempt in trying to get an atmosphere, or maybe to get some tension, is they'll do that thing where they'll swell music to like a breaking point, and you think, oh shit, something's gonna happen, and then it just cuts to the next scene of nothing happening at all.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, okay. So we're still not going to do anything. Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know. The only scene that I thought maybe worked a little bit with the atmosphere was the scene in the forest where you could hear that kind of wailing in the background.
Yeah. But by that point in time,
the whole like, do you trust me? And then that's another point that I'll bring up is dialogue in this movie.
It's terrible.
It is painfully bad. Performances, and here's the thing, I don't get on performances a lot. If you go back and listen to other episodes, unless
it's kids.
Unless it's children, I'm very lenient when it comes to acting and performances in film. I feel like when you target acting, it's oftentimes it's a low blow, and that it's something that you can easily look past. I can easily look past it, at least. As long as the story's good and the visuals are well done, I can get past
and I think
acting.
What makes it difficult, because you're definitely a little more lenient than I am, but the thing that gets me, it makes it difficult for me to look past something, is when you have that combo of bad acting and then bad dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay if the dialogue's good and they're just having trouble with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. You can look. It makes it easier to look past it. But when the dialogue's bad, and then you have the bad line delivery of that bad dialogue, it just, ooh, boy, does it stick out.
It's a 1-2 punch. That's what that is.
And it like there's that scene where her dad just out of nowhere is like, just all of a sudden, new scene. He's on the phone talking to her husband, and he's like, "You gotta give her a baby tonight." And you're just like, "What the fuck is happening in this movie?" Like none of this makes sense to me.
I love the classic "cat got your tongue" that line. As soon as I heard that, I go, "Oh well."
Yeah, we're in
Any script that uses someone in earnest saying "cat got your tongue," it's not good. That is not good. That's not a good sign. There was also something that happened earlier on in the movie that it irked me, and I know that this is a stupid nitpick, but there's a scene where she's trying to call. I think she's trying to call her boyfriend, not her husband, but the guy she's been cheating on him with, and when it's ringing, when the phone is ringing. That's not the sound of a phone ringing. They use like a dial tone. They use the dial tone sound.
Oh.
So instead of like, when you call somebody, it rings on and you hear the phone going boop,
Yeah.
The sound that they used was actually a dial tone sound.
Mm.
And I'm like, wait, is she calling him? Is that ringing, or is it like something weird going on with the phone? And it was just, I don't know, it just kind of bothered me.
Is it all in her head?
There was another stupid thing that I didn't like about this movie, and the fact that the place. So she works for her dad as a mechanic. I guess she's sort of like the desk person. She works the counter.
Yeah.
And the place that they work is called Helsing Service Center.
Yeah.
I felt like that was such a heavy-handed thing to call it Helsing.
Plus the sign that they keep showing,
and it's the worst sign ever.
It's a lazy sign.
Like
it looks like they typed it out in Arial italic.
It looks like they used a dot matrix printer with one of those banner makers, the sheets that used to be the long sheets, and just printed it out and pasted it over top of the real sign that's there.
Yeah, there's a lot of rough stuff going on in here. And like I said, the beginning takes so long for anything to be introduced, really, that's noteworthy or of merit. What the actual narrative is of this film, and and up until that point, like I said, they just drag out. Like there's the scene where the woman's like, "Can you break 100?"
Yeah.
And that scene just plays out like in real time of her like, "I'm not sure," and then she shuffles into the garage. Is like, she wants to break this 100. No, we can't do that. And it's just like keeps going. It's like, what does this have to do with anything?
Yeah, it literally has nothing to do with anything, and it plays out.
Like, is this
that 100?
Is this a horror movie, or is it a movie about an older lady trying to break 100? Like what?
It's all about the nuanced role of service center counter management.
Yeah, it's like, is that the subtext here of how difficult it is and what it says about our economy? Like what is happening? Because your synopsis says a sexually oppressed woman. Well, number one, never once did I get the impression that she was sexually repressed. There's no sex in the movie whatsoever.
Absolutely not.
So she embraces her dark side. I didn't see her embrace anything really, and experience her wild. I don't know what her wildest fantasy is. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's experiencing, what she's embracing. I don't know what dark side we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand this either. This is a mild spoiler. She gets bit by a vampire and turns into a vampire. It's not like she embraces, like she's fighting it off and then finally is like, all right, here we go, I give in. I mean, unless the whole vampire thing was all metaphor and none of it was real or something like that, but
which I think it probably was. I don't know, it's very muddy.
The thing is, I don't think that was portrayed in.
I think it's muddy and there's like an ambiguity there, but I don't think that was created through like execution. Like, they set out to do that. I think that it was just so poorly put together that's why it's there. It's because I don't know if they even realize what this movie's about. Because I, for one, can't. I mean, like, I have an idea of what it's about, but I don't know if I would waste 85 minutes on telling that story.
Yeah, because there's nothing there. I don't feel like there is an interesting story here.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing here, which is really it's tough to pile on a movie like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad, but at the same time, you got to be honest. There's nothing here.
Yeah.
There's nothing here of note. There's not. I can't really point to any positives in this film.
Same here, unfortunately. And again, I feel bad too. I always feel bad when we review or when I write reviews for small indie movies, low budget, first time directors, things like that. And I always feel bad about being harsh with them and being overly critical of them, but I'm sorry, but I feel like, Helsing Service Center, you don't have to do that. Just name it whatever,
Yeah, because isn't there a
It's
sign
just
then
weird.
later when she's like driving off and the sign's completely different? Doesn't it say like Sinclair's or something like that?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it does. But I don't know if that was like
Yeah, I don't. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't
something
know if that's
else.
like a different sign, like a product sign.
Yeah, I think
Like
that
sometimes
might
you
have.
have like Valvoline or something.
Yeah, I think that's what that was. I think
But
that
it was
was like
still like,
a.
did they maybe just not have enough money, or they forgot to cover that sign up? Because they clearly covered up the other sign
Yeah.
with what, like you said, is a banner printed out that says Helsing Service Center in Arial italics. I think it was like a 98 point font.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, it's rough. Oh, it's so rough. And and that combo of taking so long to actually introduce anything, that even by the time that you introduce something, even if it was, semi coherent, had tension, atmosphere, or something in there, I probably would have been clocked out by that point in time. That I would have been like, oh, a little late.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This one lost me. This one lost me hard.
I just
There.
want to know if she ever got changed for that 100.
I, I don't know. These are questions that just beg to be answered. I don't know. There's one scene. This was probably my favorite shot in the whole movie. However, it was ruined almost right after it occurred, and that's when the mysterious vampire woman killed the boyfriend guy.
Yeah.
So they're in his car. He picks her up. I think it was him, right?
Mhm.
He picks her up and he says something absolutely ridiculous and really rapey.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And
definitely.
she kills him. And when the way that it's shot, it's the camera's fixed outside the window, and his face just smashes up against the window, and there's like blood coming out of his mouth, and the fog that comes from his breath on the window. I thought that looked really good. But then they completely fucked it up by like transposing her face like
Yeah.
behind the fog. That looked really bad.
They do that a lot in this movie. I kind of forgot about that. There's a lot of dissolves.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, that looked really good. Like that was a good shot. It was like an effective scene because like it packed a little bit of a punch there. But then her face appears, and I was like, oh no, never mind.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So that's Lilith's Awakening. I can't recommend this one, unfortunately. Let's give this a score. I will say 2 out of 10 on this one.
I will give it a 2 as well.
All right. Let's talk about Shortwave next, because I feel like there might be some themes carrying over. Not themes necessarily, but like atmosphere or maybe even mood. Because Shortwave is a sci-fi horror style movie that it does a lot of the same things as far as trying to ratchet up the tension and kind of give this psychological horror vibe to it.
Yeah.
The big difference being that but Shortwave, whereas Lilith's Awakening was very sparse in its crescendoing music and tension building. Shortwave is nonstop, never-ending, ceaseless, almost pointless levels of tension that occur. Let me read a synopsis here. This is written and directed by Ryan Gregory Phillips, a modern and unrelenting, tense psychological thriller based on a theory of the origins of shortwave radio frequencies. Shortwave is an unnerving reminder that some stones are best left unturned. That actually tells very little about the plot. Not sure that's a great synopsis. I feel like a synopsis should at least outline the basic plot of the movie, unless even the basic plot is a spoiler. However, in this, I don't believe that this is the case. So we'll start this one off with you, Kevin. What did you think of Shortwave?
I was really confused by Shortwave at first. I was so confused because, well, I liked the start of this movie. That single take, thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, it
Before
started
with
off.
the child taking her, dropping her kid off at the breeding, she goes into the bathroom.
Yep.
She comes out of the bathroom, and then that's how we kick it off. And it's just like, oh shit.
Yeah, strong start.
Damn, what's this gonna be about? This is creepy shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's immediately followed by like a trailer. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie that like do a trailer because it felt like a trailer, and I was just really confused because it's like it felt like a demo reel trailer type style here, with ridiculous cinematography, like lens flare beyond belief. And I don't know what this whole thing is about, like leaving like the left half of the frame out of focus.
Oh yeah.
Or it's like someone smeared gel all over the like right side of. But we go through this like trailer of like all these, and it's like different women like doing stuff. Like one's in a forest, one's running through a field, one's they got blood all over, and one's in this other room. And it felt like there was like four different women going on here, and I have no idea what's going on now. And it just looks like they hired a bunch of models to do stuff, and then they were just like, we're gonna try like every type of technique we can do with the camera.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's like super futuristic, and they're in this apartment, and you're like, what in God's name is going on? Because the woman from the beginning looks completely different now.
Yeah, she did.
Completely different woman. I have no idea what was going on, and they just kept. There's so many times they would just fall back into this like. The music would come in, and we would just go like music video style.
Oh yeah, you're touching on all the points that I had with this movie. This feels like a demo reel. This feels like very music video quality.
Yeah, it's just like it's a bunch of people showing off their production values.
Yeah, we've seen this many times over in the years that we've been doing this site, where a director will come out on the scene and he wants to hit the ground running, and he throws everything into it. He everything he learned in film school, he tosses in this as far as visuals. I mean, it is unwielding in the amount of what's happening in the cinematography in this movie. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And there's that point where they go like they're past this couple. Because it revolves around this couple that moves into this place, and the guy's working on this shortwave, whatever. And you don't even know about the shortwave thing until like halfway through the movie. And then all of a sudden, it's just like shortwave radios on the counter. And you're just like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah.
That's interesting. Like, I guess we're getting into it now.
Well, that was one of the things, is that they don't even, they barely mention anything about it. Like the most that they mention is that his partner was like, we're so close, like we're so close, we almost have it. And I'm like,
have what? We don't know what they're working on.
I honestly thought that this whole movie was gonna progress without them explaining anything about what they're doing. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's the way that this goes, this is completely atrocious. But they do. I mean, it is so base level. And it's funny because at first I did have kind of a Shane Carruth vibe to this movie as far as what they were trying to go with as far as the visuals. It had this kind of upstream color look to it as far as like the way that their apartment looked. It had this kind of very minimalist, very clinical look to it.
It's bright. It's a
bright
movie.
When you compare this to a film like Upstream Color, they do some of the same camera stuff, because if I remember correctly, in Upstream Color, he played around with focus a lot in that movie too. But in this movie,
it's a bit different.
Yeah, it was different. But in this movie, they do like to use that kind of
but I mean,
the sides and corners.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before. It looks like someone puts Vaseline, just like a fucking goop of it that you couldn't even see. That's how out of focus it was. It just looked like the camera was having a stroke and couldn't see out of its left eye. That's what it looked like.
They were trying to make the tension in this movie so high all the time. Like it never lets up. There's never a reprieve. There's always something going on. Everybody's so high strung in this movie all the time.
Yeah. And
And
then there's just one montage after another. And especially when they get into when they show the past of them falling in love and all that stuff. That looked like an ad for like wedding photography. The way that they were like setting up stuff. I was like, dude, you'd be really good at doing like photography at weddings.
it reminded me of like stock footage.
Yeah.
That you
Like
could,
the
buy
barn.
online.
What?
The barn
What?
scene.
What is going?
Them getting out of the car and going through the wheat field into the barn.
Yeah, and they had the old truck and everything. What is the passage of time here? From the beginning of the movie, it feels like they're in like 1972, something way back in the past, and then now we're like 2022. I don't know what happened, but they didn't age at all. It's just very bizarre. It's very confusing.
Now, there were a couple positive things I have with this movie. The first being just the house. And I think that the house is a really cool...
Yeah.
That it was a really cool... like, as far as the production design goes, I liked that location. I thought it was cool. It was just cool. It was a cool location. I liked the fact that it was kind of like this high-tech, smart home. And I just like the look of all of that stuff. And I think that melding the old technology, like the old shortwave radios and stuff, with the new kind of minimalist modern home, I thought that was a good juxtaposition that they had going there, blending the old with the new. That looked good, and that was definitely one positive I had. And then the other thing was the fact that this movie gets really violent, unbelievably violent. Surprisingly so, and I thought that the makeup effects and the blood and gore effects looked pretty good. Like a lot of that stuff looked. There's a scene where someone has their arm sliced open with a knife, and it looked very real. It looked very real. And
the only problem with that was the follow up afterwards.
Yeah,
where a little bit of time has passed and they're laying on the floor, and you're just like, well, surely there would be a little bit more blood.
Yeah.
Like the floor is clean. Did they grieve and then clean up real quick? And
and the funny thing is when that happened, it was like a blood geyser. I mean, because
he's everywhere.
He goes right up the artery from like his wrist all the way up to his elbow, and it wasn't unrealistic when I say geyser. I mean, it looked real. I imagine that's how it would be if you split your artery up there.
You flay your forearm.
Yeah. But yes, I think that it would be a lot messier.
The only thing, I agree with you with the production design. I mean, it looks good. It's a great location, everything. I thought the other positive for me was the performance from Juanita Ringling, who plays the lead girl. I thought she was pretty good.
Well, she was okay.
Everybody else. She gets a lot to do, but at the same time, so I talk about the montages, right, that I don't like, and there's two in particular. First off, the one that confuses the hell. Well, there's the trailer thing at the beginning, because that just didn't make any sense at all. I mean, they come back to it, but still, I don't know why you did that. Second is the one where she pleasures herself, like right at the very beginning. I don't know.
That was a little odd.
Well, it happens right after she has like a terrible episode that she can't figure out what the hell it is. And then she's left home alone. She's just like, got nothing to do. So just have some fun. And that scene just goes on forever and ever. And she's like, she has pants on. She doesn't have pants on. She's done, but she's not done. The editing, it's all over the place. And then a little bit later, they followed up with the montage of her in the bikini top.
Mm-hmm.
Where she's just like hanging out by the bamboo.
Yeah.
Then she's like walking around outside. And then she's in the circular hanging chair
thing.
Doing leg poses for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean,
her getting out of the water. It's just like, Jesus Christ.
That just goes back to what we were saying before about this being basically a demo reel, feeling like a demo reel. It just feels like it adds nothing to the film itself. It just feels like it's just the filmmakers just
look what we can do.
Yeah, just setting up these shots that they think look pretty.
Yeah, And
And
it's and it adds nothing to the film whatsoever. I guess it's just reiterating like, hey, we hired models.
yeah, yeah, it feels like I don't know, like a commercial, like a cologne commercial or something.
Yeah, especially when she's just like doing poses.
Yeah, yep. The rest of the performances I thought were pretty weak for the
Yeah,
most part. Nothing, I don't know, nothing horrible. I thought that Lilith's Awakening, the performances were much worse.
yeah, I
But
would agree.
overall, this one didn't really grab me either. I just didn't like it.
Well, and
Flat
it's
out.
one,
Flat out.
yeah, and like you said too, it gets violent towards the end, but even that was, it just really didn't make any sense that to make it this, to attempt to make it this complicated and overly interesting with the shortwave and everything, to have it boil down to what actually happens violent
Yeah.
wise, it's just like, oh, okay, so they can make you injure people and their weapon of choice is
Well,
knives for
I
some
was
blades.
yeah, I was never really clear about what. Maybe that's why I didn't really like it that much. Is because I was never really clear about what was happening. Like I didn't really understand the motivations of, because it gets very supernatural towards the
Yeah,
end once you start learning more about what's happening with the shortwave stuff. And there was a little twist that they added in there that I thought was interesting, but I also didn't quite get what any of it was
well,
for.
the other thing that and this just made it so odd because you have the opening single take where she drops her kid off for this like reading thing at like a local bookstore or whatever. She goes into the bathroom and she comes out of the bathroom. Everyone's gone. Like
Everyone.
just fucking gone. And then she's still grieving and she can't get past the fact that she lost her daughter and this and that. And but what I'm thinking, and everyone's kind of like, oh man, she's a wreck. Oh, she should be over this by now. But everyone fucking disappeared. Okay, everyone in there was like six other children. There was
Yeah.
adults. Why are we not freaking out and being like, what the fuck happened? The
That
entire town disappeared.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the big things that I was questioning throughout the movie is what about the other parents, because that their daughter was not the only kid that disappeared, and then plus the teacher reading to them, she was gone too. So it's like, why were there not like support groups and like
Everyone did,
things like
and everyone disappeared. She was in a bathroom, right? But that bathroom was only like 4 feet away from where everyone was
yeah,
at.
it was right next to it.
It's silent. Everyone left silently. And they're just like, she should get over it by now. No, that's some fucked up shit that I don't think you ever recover from because there's a mystery afoot. Something happened.
And you do get some answers regarding that, but when the answer occurs, it's like, what? Why? 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 Like, was it all to manipulate her? But if so, how did they know?
Like, couldn't they do?
Like, how did they plan this out so far in advance? And it's just, it was like, none of it came together.
No, it's just no.
I also thought that the creature design was weak. Like, we've seen that before. They weren't very interesting.
I have to say, and this is like a new rule now. If you're making horror movies, if your creature design can't top an Aphex Twin video, then stop. Don't make horror films anymore. Because you should be able to top an Aphex Twin video.
Yeah, I don't know. Those videos are pretty freaky.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like if I can get more freaked out in one of those like 4-minute videos than what you can do in 80, 90 minutes, then you got to rethink. You got to move into another genre. Okay.
Gotcha. All right. Any final thoughts on Shortwave before we give this a score?
Cool it with the montages. Moving forward, just calm down with montages.
What'd you think about the soundtrack? Because
was it just like one Fleet Foxes song played over and over again? Is that what that was?
And it was what is that name of that band? Vancouver something or other. They played that one Vancouver something or other song.
Okay.
Like at least 3 times.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was damn it. Let me look it up real quick. It was Vancouver.
It felt for the wedding photography stuff, or it was like a commercial for like Zales or something.
Vancouver Sleep Clinic is the name of the band, and the song I believe is called like Aftermath or something like that. Which is
very appropriate name.
Yeah, which is funny because the song is 1 minute and 43 seconds long, so they replayed that song at least 3 times.
I think you're
And
right.
I'm pretty sure the song was in its entirety those 3 times.
You might be right.
So not into that. I felt like the music was very manipulative, and I don't. It felt like it reminded me like on network TV procedurals on network TV when they play like the type of music during an emotional scene, like when somebody dies or when something bad happens, and it's like so overtly manipulative.
As soon as it comes in, it's just
it was like Scrubs. What Scrubs used to do.
Scrubs.
Something serious happens. Let's play a Shin song.
All
right. What are you gonna give Shortwave out of 10?
2.
I'm gonna give Shortwave a 2.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, and there were a couple things. I'm sitting at like a 2.53 on that one, just because there were a couple things. The razor blade scene I thought was effective, like that made me squirm a little bit.
Yeah.
And the slow stab, the slow throat stab, I thought looked really good.
That was rough to watch.
So there were a couple things that got me with that one. So actually, now that I reevaluated, I'll firmly say a 3 on that.
Yeah, but remember the montages.
I know. I remember the A 3 is not a good. A 3 is not a good score.
Dude, there's a montage of her masturbating.
There was. It happened.
And they shoot her feet like 12 times of her feet just sliding back and forth.
Yep. Pants on, pants off, pants on, pants off.
And this happens after she tries to leave the house and she's rendered unconscious from an invisible force field. And then he's like, I still got to go into town. And then as soon as he leaves, she's like, well, might as well get to it. Start rubbing that clip.
Got nothing else to do.
Got the house to myself. Enjoy that shit. Like, what the fuck?
All right. That's Shortwave. Let's move on to our final review. Dinner with the Alchemist. This is directed by Kevin Good. I have a synopsis here. In this supernatural drama, a spiderweb of lives come clashing together as old New Orleans is plagued by mysterious deaths.
Oh boy.
So this one is the one I
had trouble with.
I had trouble with it at first. I had watched, I think, about 5 minutes of before turning it off and coming back the next day to finish it off.
I hear you.
I gotta say, so of these 3 that we watched, the story of this one, the narrative, I found to be the most interesting of the 3.
I'm right there with you. This was the one that I actually enjoyed.
I knew it. I was gonna predict that this was the one.
I'm surprised that you predicted that.
Yeah, because it was the same for me. Out of the 3, this was the one that I liked the most, and it's certainly not without its flaws.
It definitely has. It has some flaws. It definitely, and I can see exactly what you're talking about, because even in the beginning, watching this one too, it was because this is the last one I watched. Right, I watched Lilith's Awakening, then I watched Shortwave, and then I get into Dinner with the Alchemist. The title card pops up, and I'm just like, oh, geez.
I know.
And then get a little bit, like 10, 15 minutes into the movie, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. I don't know if I can I don't know if I can do this again.
It's you gotta just give this one a shot. You can't just, because it looks like shit. The acting is awful.
Yeah, the acting, it gets better at times. It definitely gets better at times and you almost kind of, like, at least for me, I kind of got a little bit more invested in it, because I'm like, I started like rooting for these guys.
Yeah.
I was like, I know you can do it. And then when it would be like a good scene, I'm like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Way to go, guys.
Yeah, it is interesting because I turned it off right after they first introduced the Marie Laveau character, played by Dion Audain. And that first scene that she's in, she's bad. Like, it's just bad. But she does, as it goes on, the emotions start to ramp up and things get more serious and the stakes get higher. It gets better. Like, she does get better. And I think the same can be said for a lot of these performances. It just, you gotta stick with it though, because like, visually it is very, very bad, like very poor, very low budget on this one, and it looks like a play. I think it looks like a play. Doesn't look like a feature film.
But the thing, there's because yeah, it's low budget.
Now
and you're doing a period piece too, which I mean that's you already digging yourself into a hole there.
Yeah.
And I mean I was kind of surprised the way they were able to pull off some of this stuff. You know, it kind of gave it like this charm to it.
Yeah,
you're like, you know what? I'm with you guys. I'm having fun with this story. I thought the story was actually really well written.
Yeah,
like the construction of it and everything, the way that interweaving all these stories and stuff. I'm just like, there's a lot of flaws to this, and there's definitely like when they're down at like the docks.
The green screen. The green screen in this is so bad.
It's tough. It's so tough to get through. But I don't know. After a while, I kind of just gave in, and I'm like, hey,
the exact same.
This is a charming ass film. I don't know why.
Yep. I got the exact same thing happened to me, and it reminded me of like a 90s FMV video game. Like this should have been a game that came out on Sega CD or something, because it just had this really low quality to it. But that being said, I was thoroughly intrigued by the story. Like it's sort of a murder mystery. You know, there's these girls that are being murdered in the French Quarter, and they're trying to figure out who did it. But then there's this like mysterious French alchemist that shows up. He's French, right?
Yeah,
he's French, because there's the Spaniard.
He's an alchemist, and you got voodoo.
And just one thing that I thought that was actually strong with the visuals was the scenes where he was mixing up his chemicals and his potions and shit. Like those scenes actually looked really good.
Yeah, I think they knew that they couldn't fuck those up.
Yeah,
like it's dinner with the alchemist. There's an alchemist. We're gonna be doing alchemy things. They have to look good.
Yeah, all the alchemy scenes, they did really look good. It was weird though, because it almost looked like it didn't quite fit. Like like those scenes looked much higher definition than the other scenes.
It looks like they invested a lot of the budget into the alchemy scenes.
Yeah,
they didn't, instead of like kind of spreading that stuff out over the entire film production, they were just like, we got to make sure that these scenes look great, and then we'll just make the other stuff work somehow. Yeah,
but oddly, I'm just right there with you. I was fully invested in the characters and the story, and there were a lot of kind of interconnected subplots that happened during this, and I thought it was well crafted, and they did draw a lot from real history too, like the Marie Laveau character. I mean, that was a real person. She's a real person.
Yeah, and they tell you at the beginning that they gleaned a lot of the stuff from actual police records from that time,
and I think that
the story out of it, and
I think that definitely helped too. Marie Laveau's shop is actually still there, and actually visited it in New Orleans. Yeah, it's more of like a touristy type thing now, but it's still there. And I liked that, and the fact that they did kind of make this kind of historical fiction type of film out of it, and they
weren't afraid to have a little bit of fun with it too.
No, they weren't.
The main cop, Regan Wilson, who looked like a mixture of Jack Black and P.T. Anderson.
yeah.
He's there for like comic relief, which I don't know. It's one of those things that, looking back, it shouldn't work for me.
No,
like it shouldn't work, but it did. It did, and like I'm like halfway I was like halfway through it, and I'm just like, damn, I'm like really into this.
Yeah,
it's who the fucking killer is.
And see, it's funny because this one was the first one of the three that I attempted to watch. And I turned it off and I watched the other two over the next couple of days, and then I came back to this one. And it was just funny because at some point, maybe 20 minutes in, maybe 30, I realized like I'm kind of hooked. I'm kind of hooked in this thing. Yeah,
you're just kind of like, there comes a point where you're just like, fuck this. This is fun. I'm having fun with this one.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but this definitely was my favorite of the three that we talked about on the show, and it was it's probably my favorite of all of the Dances with Films movies that I've seen thus far. So,
ooh, nice.
Yeah, I don't. It's just, man, can you imagine what this would have been like if they had a bigger budget to
like the actual money to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And this is and kind of like what we talked about with Lilith's Awakening. This movie has bad acting. It's got some rough acting.
Oh yeah.
But the writing, the screenplay itself is so much better.
Yeah.
That you don't mind it that much.
Yep. And I'm gonna come back.
There's not atrocious, dialogue where you're just like, oh my god.
I'm gonna come back to that in a little bit too on the watch list, because there was another one at Dances with Films that was a similar situation. But yeah, this is one that I will give a light recommend to, because I think that once you get past the look and the shaky performances, you will have a good time with it.
Yes.
So
I agree.
Dinner with the Alchemist, I will go ahead and give that a 6 out of 10.
I will give it a 6 as well.
It's just
I'm surprised we kind of lined up on everything.
As soon as you texted me and said the one, it'll shock you, I knew that was the one, because I was like, well, it has to be that one, because it was the only one that I actually liked out of the three. I was like, and I was like fully prepared. I was like fully prepared if that wasn't the one, if this wasn't the one, to defend it, because I was like, this is clearly the best of these three. All right, so that's, again, Dinner with the Alchemist. Not sure as far as release dates on any of these movies, but we will certainly keep everything up to date on the site, and if they get VOD releases, we'll update that and all of that stuff. Let's move on and talk about some of what we've been watching in the watch list. Now, it's been 2 weeks, so probably have a bunch of stuff lined up. So let's just stick with some of the big ones here. I'll start it off, if that's okay.
Hit me.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so X-Men Apocalypse.
Hit me.
I'll keep this pretty brief. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great. I had some very major issues with it. I thought that it was probably Bryan Singer's worst of the 3 X-Men movies that he directed. And it's actually kind of funny that I see this movie very shortly after seeing An Open Secret, which is that documentary about the sex abuse in Hollywood. And Bryan Singer is implicated very, very heavily in that. And I'm pretty sure that he is guilty of that. Wow. So it didn't really affect how I felt about this movie in any way. But as far as stacking this against other superhero movies, I thought it was far better than Batman v Superman. But I didn't think it was as good as Days of Future Past, the last X-Men movie. Oddly, the stakes felt very low, considering the fact that Apocalypse was the villain and his goal was to basically kill everybody in the entire world.
Okay.
There was just something about it that didn't quite mesh. There aren't as many X-Men in this movie as Days of Future Past, and yet the ones that they did showcase felt like they didn't really do enough with them. Like Psylocke, Olivia Munn's character, she had 2 lines in the whole movie, and she just didn't do that much. Same with Storm. I like the character of Storm, and I like that they gave her the mohawk and everything, but I just felt like she was underutilized in this. Quicksilver, there was another scene with Quicksilver like they did in Days of Future Past, very similar to what they did in Days of Future Past, which is fine because I thought that was the best scene in that movie. Yeah. And the problem, I think, that they wrote themselves into a corner with the character of Quicksilver is that he's just way too overpowered. So they had to kind of write it in that he gets incapacitated in some way.
Yeah.
So it's certainly not without its flaws, but I'd say it's worth a rental. You know, it's got some fun action scenes. Like I mentioned before I saw this, I had heard that even though it takes place in the 80s, it doesn't feel like the 80s, and I will completely agree with that. There's very little to indicate that it's the 80s, which is, I feel like that's a big bummer.
Yeah. It makes you think, well, why even be in the 80s?
I think that the only reason they did it is because just canonically they had to get there with it with this cast, since the other one took place in the 70s, the last one. But either way, I'd say maybe a light recommend. I gave it 2.5 stars on Letterboxd. I didn't write a review for this one, but yeah, it's X-Men Apocalypse. It was a meh for me.
That's unfortunate. I have a French movie that I checked out on Mubi, which it's still on there. If you have Mubi, by the way, looks like it's got 3 days to go. It's a film called Eat Your Bones, which I think you would really be into this one.
Eat your bones.
Eat your fucking bones. All right. So this is it's one of those gritty realist movies. It's about a kid that lives in this community of gypsies, and he's about to get baptized. I guess it's a Christian gypsy community. They set up shop and they get their tent and everything. He's getting ready to get baptized, but his brother gets out of jail, just did a 15-year stint. And when he comes back, oh shit, he hasn't changed. This guy is still wild and crazy. And they immediately get into some shit because apparently he learned nothing in jail and he wants to go back. So, and essentially it's just like the one day and then one night of them just getting into shit deeper and deeper and deeper until they can't get out of it. And it has a really good, gritty, realist feel to it. Cinematography in certain places looks fantastic, and the performances are quite good. I think that was the main thing that kept me intrigued, because story-wise, what's actually happening and some of the themes that they kind of explore throughout the film don't really work for me. I mean, I found it all kind of one note and just monotonous after a while. But the performances really hold it up and at least keep you interested mildly until you get to the end.
No, I'm interested in this one. This one looks good.
It's like a super light recommend.
Okay. That's Eat Your Bones.
Eat Your Bones. No one eats bones. Just a heads up. Sorry to ruin that for you. I was just thinking that there's probably some people that got really excited by that title and thought, I wonder if someone eats bones. No one eats bones.
No bone eating.
That's a shame.
Shame.
Just a heads up.
That's a shame. I saw Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Okay.
This is the Lonely Island movie starring Andy Samberg. There's a ton of people in this, by the way. Just a slew of great comedic talent, as well as a lot of musicians in this, because it's kind of I would say it's sort of a modern This Is Spinal Tap, where it's kind of taking the piss out of the pop industry and the music industry as a whole. And I think that it does it pretty effectively. It's very, very funny. Lots of quotables, lots of one-liners in this one. Lots of throwaway lines and things. And a lot of critics were saying, like, this plays out like a long SNL digital short. And it does. It's, if you're into the SNL digital shorts that Andy Samberg and company have made over the years, then you'll like this, because it's very similar. Obviously, it's more adult. This is R-rated, so they're able to do whatever they want with it. And I would say this one is a hearty recommend as well. I didn't love it, but I was certainly entertained by it. Certainly gave me the giggles, and I found it wildly entertaining. Right. So definitely worth checking out. There is I don't know if I'd even call it a cameo, but Justin Timberlake is in it, and his character is so fucking funny in this. He plays the Andy Samberg's personal chef, and he's just so funny in it. But I mean, everybody does a great job. There's this great, because it's sort of shot like a mockumentary, and there's this TMZ style, like they're making fun of TMZ and kind of parodying it. And it's Mike Birbiglia and Will Arnett and what's her name from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh,
why am I drawing?
Oh my God, what is her name?
I feel bad. She's really funny, but it's the three of them, and oh my God, it's really funny. It's good stuff. But Chelsea Peretti, that's it.
Yes,
yeah. Riz is in it. Riz is pretty funny as well. He plays himself. Oh yeah, and Eric Andre is also one of the TMZ people. So just imagine that group.
I want to watch this.
Yeah, it's worth checking out. I think you'll like it. You'll find it funny.
Good. I watched a American Indie on Fandor. Fandor. This is from 2012 called Marvin, Seth, and Stanley, directed by Steven Gervitz, and it's a film in which his dad, Marvin Gurewitz, he plays his son, and then Alex Karposky plays the other son, and they go on this weekend camping trip and fishing trip, and it doesn't go well. Doesn't go well at all.
I can tell from the poster.
Yeah, because that car is careening off of a cliff. Maybe. I mean, it doesn't go that badly. But this is one of those films where it's kind of funny. There's a couple times that I chuckled and stuff. But it's not. Don't go in expecting to be laughing your ass off, chuckling nonstop, and all that kind of stuff. It's one of those times where I kind of had like a pleasant time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's low key, really. Yeah. It's got neo-realist feel to it, with the grainy film stock and all that. And it's just them, their trip or whatever. And Steven Gerwitz's character he's funny. He's a funny actor, but he just doesn't say that much in this movie. I mean, a lot of the focus is on Alex Karpovsky's character, and he kind of dominates the entire story just because of the personality type that his character is.
Mm-hmm.
He's this guy that like constantly lies, just makes up shit for attention, thinks his life is like he knows everything and he knows what to do, and his life is completely together and he's the shit. And he's like the exact opposite because he doesn't have his shit together, and that type of thing. So he kind of dominates. And while at first it is a little bit funny, like it becomes overbearing, like midway through, 3/4 of the way through. And I mean, it's kind of the point because that's what his character's supposed to be. But holy shit, it's tough to watch for the entire time. And especially when you have two other characters, the dad and the other son, Steven Gerwitz, the writer and director. They are much more funny in their line delivery and what they say and stuff. And he just overpowers them throughout, which again is the point of the film. But at the same time, it doesn't really make for that great or that enjoyable of a viewing experience.
Yeah, well, it looks like it's only 72 minutes, so
yeah, so
it's pretty breezy.
It goes quickly. Like I said, I had a pleasant time with it. Now, it's a light recommend because when you're done with it, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes after watching the thing, and you kind of sitting with it, there's not much there. There's really nothing there to like stick with you.
Yeah,
you're just like, oh, okay, that was an alright time.
Okay,
I'm not gonna remember this.
Yeah. And that's Marvin, Seth, and Stanley, available on Fandor. I saw The Wailing.
Oh, boy.
This is directed by Na Han Jin. It's a South Korean film. This one's an interesting one because it starts off as a sort of a procedural, and it kind of evolves into this supernatural thriller. There's I've heard it described as The Exorcist meets Memories of Murder. Okay. And that's pretty accurate in saying that. It does have sort of a Memories of Murder feel to it, where it's drawn out. This movie's it's over 2.5 hours long, so it's a little lengthy. It's a little drawn out, and there is a fair amount of comedy in this, actually. Like Memories of Murder, where it's very serious subject matter, but they do tend to put in a lot of levity in there, and it just has this kind of supernatural hook to it, where people are getting possessed and people are dying, and it's basically people are getting possessed and murdering their loved ones, and it focuses on this detective who's trying to figure out what the cause of it is, and things get very, very dire for him. Indeed. You would definitely like this one. You should absolutely check this one out. Cinematography is fantastic. Looks great. Most of the movie, or a lot of the movies, it's raining. It's like raining and dirty and very, very grimy looking.
Shit.
But I had a lot of fun with it. I need to rewatch it, just plain and simple, because where it goes and the various twists that occur, it's a little complex. And I think that I have a handle on how it turned out and why everything happened the way it did, but there are some questions that I have that I think I would be able to answer if I rewatched it, knowing how it ends.
Yeah.
So, The Wailing is playing in limited release right now. I would highly recommend checking it out. If you're into these kind of South Korean crime stories or even horror movies, because it does go down that road too, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Yeah, I think you'll definitely like it.
So The Intern.
The Intern.
The Intern, the one with Robert De Niro.
Yeah, I know the one.
I was this was a vacation in the hotel. Intern comes on, and I said, why the fuck not? Let's do it. What's up? There's not much to say. It's got some interesting things to it, but man, a lot of this stuff is just some really sappy comedy in there. And just every character outside of Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro is just, oh boy, they're like cutouts, cardboard cutouts. And I don't know. It's just he's a senior intern and he goes back to work and Anne Hathaway's running this business and it's exploding. Oh my god! And they want her to find a CEO because she can't handle it, right? Mm-hmm. So she's got some problems. She's got some issues. She doesn't want to do it. She wants to stay in charge. Robert De Niro is like, you should do it. You should stay in charge because you're a woman and you're awesome. So I mean, it's got a nice message of it's got this feminist message to it, but at the same time, it doesn't really go anywhere outside of just like, yeah, you're a woman, you can do it too. And then that's as far as it goes. And then it just keeps reiterating that message over and over again. And it's kind of funny here and there because, it's Robert De Niro. He's an old guy and he's working at this upstart. And it's funny because he dresses up and everyone's super cash.
Oh.
Yeah, but he always wears a suit. And he's not going to change. He's going to keep wearing his suit. And he brings his briefcase. He's got his briefcase. And it's light. It's a fluff piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it's great for some people. I just wasn't into it. It's not my type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I fucking watched it anyways. I knew it wasn't my type of thing. But I was like, oh, let's do it.
All right. That's The Intern. I saw Zootopia, the Disney animated film.
Yeah.
With Jason Bateman as a fox, talking fox. This one was interesting. It was kind of a mystery story. Basically, it's about this bunny who becomes a cop. She's the first cop bunny, and they are investigating this missing persons case where there's this he's a badger or no otter. I think he's an otter who goes missing, and they're trying to track him down. She's trying to, because she's a bunny, they made her a meter maid, and she's trying to make a name for herself and prove that she's more than just a meter maid. So she goes and tries to take this case where she finds this missing person, and there's this like rash of missing animals that are popping up all over Zootopia.
Oh
and
my god!
She discovers that there is a nefarious plot that's happening, and she partners up with this sly fox to solve this mystery. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. There were a number of really funny sequences, particularly the one that you see in the trailers, the DMV, and all of the employees at the DMV are sloths. It's a really funny scene. It's very juvenile, but the way that it's executed is just really, really comical, and I enjoyed that. I had a really good time with this. I thought that the animation was really good. Like the fur on all of the animals was just so clear, and just, man, it was like taking it to another level. And also the scale, the fact that these are all animals of different shapes and sizes and heights and everything, and the fact that they were able to create this city that accounted for all of the different sizes of these animals was really interesting. I mean, the attention to detail in this was really, really impressive, and I had a really good time with it. I thought it was a fun little movie. It was a little heavy-handed because the whole premise is some animals are predators and some are prey, and 99% of mammals are prey and 1% are predators. And it was just this whole kind of thing where something happens in the movie where people become scared of the predators and they start having them, they start losing their jobs and being repressed as predators.
No.
So there was this whole kind of equality message to it, which it was fine. It was just a little heavy-handed.
A little much.
Yeah, but I still recommend it. I mean, it's still a really fun family film. So Zootopia, check it out. Check it out on Blu-ray. There's a ton of bonus features on the Blu-ray, and one of them is really interesting because it actually, they talk about how this was a completely different movie at the beginning when they were like storyboarding it and everything. It was it changed completely by the time they finished it. And like before, the Fox, Jason Bateman's character, was the main character, and they had it all. They had like all of these other different plot points and things. So it changed a lot throughout the development and production. And it's interesting that they kind of go over all of that stuff in the bonus features. So yeah, check it out.
I have one left. That was another movie that I saw on Fandor.
Fandor.
All about it. Get that Fandor. 1983's Kukurantumi. This is a film from Ghana, director King Empal. And the thing that intrigued me was it's a Ghana comedy from 1983. I was like, all right, African comedy from the 80s? Let's do this. Thing that sold me on it is I go to Letterboxd. I'm like, oh, I wonder if anyone's seen it, what they thought. No one's seen it, or at least logged it on Letterboxd. So that instantly piques my interest. Well, I have to be the first one. Here we go. Again, it's one of those things where it's not that funny. And not only is it not that funny, but I didn't really even recognize like attempts at humor. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to like try to be funny and you're just not.
Yeah.
You just, again, you either failed at being funny or it just wasn't my type of humor. But this one is, I didn't really even see attempts at humor, unless it's just, something in the, the cultural differences, the different sense of humor. The movie is in English. So all the characters speak English, which was tough because they have really thick accents and there's no subtitles for this movie, which is really difficult for me because I watch subtitles on everything because I can't understand people talking ever. Even if it's English, I can't figure it out. Subtitles help. They're really important. But I'm just advocating for subtitles right now and closed captioning. Do it for everything. But again, it's one of those things that I had a pleasant time with it. The film actually opens up with this single shot that is really impressive for the type of scene that we're talking with here. The main character, Addy, he drives a lorry between the small town of Kukurantumi and the capital of Accra. So that's how he makes his money, right? And his family lives in the small town, and then he kind of stays in the city and picks up people and back and forth. So the movie starts off at a big dirt lot, and everyone's like loading up into his lorry. He's getting ready for the trip. And it's like a single take of him walking the whole way back to his lorry. There's a conversation there of them like getting ready, people loading up and everything. And then they get in the truck. He starts driving away. The camera like floats up. As he's pulling out, he turns left out of the thing. And then it's like a complete swivel of him going the whole way around the circumference of the dirt lot, which was fantastic. It was really great way to start off the movie. And there's a couple of other scenes like that throughout where it's just like, man, this is high quality stuff.
Oh.
But it was interesting because they work in, I guess, 83. This is like slightly after, like a couple of years after a revolution that they had in Ghana, which they make mention of throughout the movie, which of course got me to look that up to try and figure out exactly what they're talking about. So it's an interesting little movie. It's a pleasant, I mean, like I said, it's not overly funny, but it's not like they're failing constantly. It's all right. It's like a light recommend.
All right. What was the name of that again?
Kukurantumi.
Kukurantumi. All right. I got a few here that I'll just bang out very quickly. I saw The Martian. I didn't like it. We'll leave it at that. I didn't see the point of it existing.
Yeah, 100%.
It just wasn't. I was expecting it to be a laugh riot after winning the Golden Globe for Best Comedy or Musical, and I was a little disappointed because it was not a laugh riot.
No, not at all.
I saw some other Dances with Films movies. One was called Beacon Point. It was a horror film. Did not enjoy this one very much. It's about a group of hikers that are hiking across the Appalachian Trail, and some bad things happen to them after they encounter this mysterious, I guess you'd call it a tome.
Yeah.
They basically they die. It's like this whole kind of alien type thing. It's not very enjoyable. I didn't like that one too much at all. It's not horrible, I guess. Virtual Revolution is another one I saw. I have a review for this up on the site, so you can read my thoughts in greater detail in the review. This is very much a Blade Runner-esque movie. I mean, it borrows heavily in the visual department from Blade Runner. It takes place in a future where everybody is hooked into VR and they don't spend any time in the real world. And there's this group of terrorists that is trying to destroy the VR companies to make people go back into the real world and spend their lives in the real world. And it's about this agent who is working for one of the VR companies, and he's trying to stop these terrorists. This is an example of bad acting with good dialogue. The acting's pretty bad, but the dialogue's actually pretty decent. So some of the visual effects, I mean, this is a really ambitious movie, and some of the visual effects are actually pretty goddamn good in this movie. Like, the CG work was really impressive for a low budget movie. Because a lot of it takes place in the VR world. So there's like one that's like a fantasy setting where there's dragons and magic and stuff, and then there's this other one that's like this dystopian sci-fi future with mechs and robots and drones and things. And it all looks really good. The movie doesn't really do much as far as anything original or unique. I wasn't really taken with the story, and I didn't like the main character very much either. I thought he was a little flat. It was like a cross between Blade Runner and Existence, the Cronenberg film. Not great, that one. I didn't like that too much. And then the other one I saw is called Misfortune. Checked this one out last night. It's a crime thriller. This one I actually enjoyed. It's very light in plot. I mean, there's not a lot going on in this. The dialogue is very sparse, very minimalist, as far as they don't really develop any of the characters, and the story's not really developed at all, but I found it to be pretty entertaining. It's a heist film of sorts about this guy who steals a bunch of diamonds with his partner and then betrays his partner, gets killed, and then his son goes out and looks for the diamonds. I have a review for that up on the site as well. Now, before we move on, I just want to quickly mention a couple TV shows that I've been watching just because I like them quite a bit, and I wanted to mention them.
Do it.
The first is Preacher. So Preacher started on AMC. Huge fan of the comic book series. I loved the Preacher comic book series. They still have all the graphic novels, and I was even collecting the single issues when it was coming out. So the Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg adaptation began. There's 2 episodes have come out so far, and they're great. It's fantastic. It doesn't follow the comic book to a T. There is some finagling happening here with the story, but for the broad strokes are there, and I thought that they did a great job with it. It's funny. There's really good action scenes in it, which surprised me. Like some of the action scenes in the first 2 episodes are really good, especially the pilot. But I highly recommend checking out Preacher. It's dark, it's disturbing, it's funny, but it's very violent, and recommend that. Another one is Outcast, which premiered on Cinemax. There's 2 episodes of that out now also. That's also based on a comic book, a Robert Kirkman comic book, the guy who created Walking Dead. This is another horror story, but it's about exorcisms and possession. But it's very low key. It's sort of like how he created The Walking Dead at the beginning, where the zombies were never really the central point, the focal point of the story. It's sort of the same way with this movie, and it's about a guy who is returning to his hometown after being gone for a long time. When he was a kid, his mom got possessed, and it kind of screwed him up. and he's starting to realize that he has the power to basically exorcise demons from possessed people. Again, very, very dark. This one's, because it's on Cinemax, they can drop F-bombs and stuff like that, unlike the Preacher series, but really, that's definitely worth checking out. So that one is actually created by Adam Wingard, and he directed the first episode, the pilot, and Caitlin Shields in it.
I was gonna say, this is the one with Patrick Fugit, right?
Yep, he's the main character.
Yeah, because even looks like here Lee Janiak did one of the episodes too.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool. She must do one of the later episodes. She didn't. When Adam Wingard did the first episode, I can't remember who did the second one, but it wasn't him. Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. It has very cinematic quality to it. The cinematography is really good. It takes place in South Carolina, so it has that kind of weathered look to it.
Nice.
And then the last one that I'll mention is Bloodline on Netflix.
Bloodline.
The second season of that is now available. It came out a couple weeks ago, but I finished watching the second season. I've been binge watched that one.
Oh man, you've done already?
Have you been watching it?
Yeah, I've been watching it.
Oh,
this is a weird show for me because it started out awful. Like the first season with the narration and stuff, it was so terrible. Yeah,
same for me. So when the first season came out, I knew nothing about it. I watched the first episode and that was it. Like I did not continue. But then later on, I gave it another shot and I stuck with it, and of course it hooked me.
Yeah, well, and the reason I stuck with it, I was like, man, Ben Mendelsohn. He's fucking killing it in this show. I'm just watching it for that. And then, you got hooked, and then I was like, oh, you know what, I'll start the second season. The number one thing that I noticed with the second season, the direction now, like, holy shit. Like, some of these episodes, this is one episode, I think the second episode, oh my goodness, whoever directed that was amazing.
Yeah.
Kyle Chandler in the second season is doing some really impressive work. The facial expressions that he's making,
oh my
especially when he talks to the first time that he talks to Kevin Rayburn, that character hits.
Oh my god, dude.
Kevin Rayburn fucks up, and just the looks that he shoots him.
He looks like a child. Like he contorts his face in a way that he looks like a learning disabled child or something. And I don't mean that like to be offensive in any way, but just the confusion that he kind of has on his face. Oh my god,
the way that he gets those faces and the faces of just pure rage. That's just like deep down.
It's just building up inside of him.
And you can tell that it looks like it's taken him like 300% effort of keeping that shit inside before he just punches someone through the face.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. By now, most people have a Netflix subscription, and I think that you should absolutely check it out, and you will just know that you will get hooked to it, and you will want to continue watching it.
And then the other thing is they add John Leguizamo to the second season.
Oh yeah, and he's a bad guy too, and he's just so nefarious in this, and it's like because you don't know what his plan is at first. You're like, what is he doing here? Because you know he's planning something. You know that he's setting things up. He's like setting up the dominoes to fall. But you don't really know what his goal is or why he's doing the things that he's doing. And it's just so good.
Yes.
So good. All right. Let's talk about some predictions. Next week, we have Central Intelligence.
Ooh.
Little The Rock and some Kevin Hart.
They're a mixed matched couple of going to fight some crime.
It's basically like the two biggest names in Hollywood right now that are in everything coming together.
I like Rock doing comedy though.
Sure, absolutely.
He's so amazing at comedy.
I'm not interested in this one. The only thing that made me laugh in the trailer was I think it was towards the end when he throws the grenade in the car. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Which car are we gonna take? Not that one." I do. And just his reaction when it was exploding. Kevin Hart's reaction, I thought that was funny.
Do. This is one of those things that I'll get like a Friday night rental.
Yeah.
Just like turn the brain off, get some brews.
Yeah.
Watch Central Intelligence.
I'll go ahead and say 48 on that one.
I'll say 50, right down the middle.
All right. We also have Finding Dory. This is the maybe highly anticipated sequel to Finding Nemo. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Finding Nemo, honestly. And there is one scene in the trailer for this one that makes me laugh very hard, and it's at the end with the. Have you seen the trailer for this?
No, I have not.
There's a scene where it's a bunch of seals or sea lions laying on a rock, and they end up. I don't know why it makes me laugh, but there's a seal that's laying on it with them. His name's Gerald, and they yell at him to get off the rock. But just the look on Gerald's face is priceless. And Idris Elba is one of the sea lions.
I just like the idea that it's nice Gerald. Oh, that's a great name for a seal.
You have to watch the latest trailer just for that one scene at the very end, because I'm not going to see the movie, but man, that one scene. What are you thinking on Finding Dory?
I say 70.
70? All right, I'll say 76 on that one. Limited release next week, we have Clown. This is the Eli Roth produced, or maybe executive produced horror film. This is one that came out overseas a long time ago, and it's finally coming out here in the States. I don't know exactly what happened with the release of this one, but I heard good things. I heard it's really freaky, and I mean the cover looks really. And clowns are scary anyway. So, Tickled. This is the documentary about the competitive tickling. I would definitely recommend that. I think that'll probably be one of my favorite documentaries of the year. So, absolutely worth checking out. Raiders, the story of the greatest fan film ever made. This is the documentary about those guys that did the shot-for-shot remake of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it took them like 30 years to make.
Fucking idiots. Idiots. Give me a break.
I'll be interested. I'll probably check that out. Looks like could be entertaining. Soul Searching. This is a South Korean rom-com. Takes place in Seoul in the 80s. Slight interest in that one. Cosmos.
Yes.
Yes. That poster, man. That's a freaky ass poster.
Give it. I want it.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right.
Let's look at what's coming out on VOD. Let's see. No Stranger Than Love and The Last Heist are coming out on Friday.
Okay.
I'm not sure what No Stranger Than Love is. What is that? Quirky romantic comedy with Allison Brie and Colin Hanks.
Okay.
Yeah, probably skip that one. Mm-hmm. Next week on Blu-ray, this is for June 14th. We got, I did not look at this ahead of time. Get a Job. That's the one with Miles Teller and Anna Kendrick. Rom-com. Hello, My Name is Doris. It's one with Sally Field and Ryan Reynolds, I believe. Another rom-com.
Yeah.
Looks like Jaws is getting a re-release. The sequels are getting re-released on Blu-ray. So Jaws 2, Jaws 3D, and Jaws: The Revenge. 10 Cloverfield Lane is getting some sort of release that looks. The cover on it looks really cool. Looks very Hitchcockian. Looks like Panic at Needle Park is getting a re-release.
Oh hell yeah! Hell yeah! Can't recommend that one enough. It's good stuff. That's a rough movie to watch, but damn, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I've never. That's on my list of shame. Do we have any Criterions next week?
Oh my god, we got two. We got a double
header.
Double header. Here we go. Jean Renoir got one coming out from 1931. La Chienne. I don't know if that's how you say it.
It's close.
French. It's a second sound film. I don't know anything about that one. And then Here Comes Mr. Jordan from 1941, directed by Alexander Hall. There you go.
Cool.
Two oldies.
It's
an oldies week for Criterion next week, or this week coming up.
Nice. Notice that London Has Fallen and Eddie the Eagle are also coming out. I missed those.
On Criterion?
Yeah, Criterion.
Damn. Oh, shit. Their new contemporary section.
Well, hey, Armageddon did come out on Criterion, so...
That's true. It did.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
All right. I think that is it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse, and consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson, and we'll see you next week.